Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be reviewing Ethel Cain's Golden Age. And there's something about Ethel Cain. She's just this very mysterious person, and I've heard some things about her, but it's not too loud of an audience, I'd say. Except I've seen her in weird places like my Discover Weekly on Spotify, and weirdly enough, Barack Obama's top music of the year or whatever it's called. So that had me interested too, and I skipped what was on my Discover Weekly because I was I kind of want to check it out for myself and not have any spoilers, and review it on this channel. Even though it was many months before I even started this, it was just in my head yeah, I want to cover something from her. Or maybe everything, because I plan to do everything. She doesn't have a lot, so I figured why not. That rhymed. But let's get into the tracks I picked. So I always like to pick the quirky ones, So I picked Head in the Wall and Knuckle Velvet. Just want to see what she has going with that. Alright. Let's get into this with track number 1, Sunday Morning. I really like that vocalization. Guitar. I saw what the lyrics are saying. Oh my god. Her voice is so dreamy, but it's so sad. Oh, that electric guitar. The bird sounds too. I like this production already. This is amazing. I guess I had a good feeling about her because she's amazing. I'm only less than 2 minutes into it. This electric guitar is going hard. And the percussion too. She's in a really abusive relationship. Very angelic. That harmonizing in the background is crazy. That was simply just beautiful. There were so many layers to that. There was great electric guitar, and great percussion, great vocals, harmonies, being pulled in out of nowhere. And it was this very angelic, dreamy tune, but at the same time the lyrics are so sad because she's talking about being physically abused, and she's talking about how, like, I don't quite understand it because it sounds like she's saying she voluntarily wants to be hit, and maybe that comes from a place like she feels like she deserves it or something, or yeah, it's just coming from like a place of guilt or insecurity, and she feels like that has to happen. But she also talks about how this person is going to be okay without her, and it's like she's reassuring the person who's abusing her. So it sounds like they have some emotional attachment to her as well, even though they're hurting her and obviously doing a harm to her. So I'm not quite sure what to make of it, but yeah. And she says on Sunday morning that doesn't even hurt, and like what they do can't even hurt her on Sunday. Like, what a way to kick off an album, right? Like, I'm definitely a fan. I definitely want to look into what this means because that was just amazing. An amazing introduction to her and to her album and what she's making here. Okay, I was just deep in thought about these lyrics, but let's get into the next one. Track number 2, Casings. I just love her voice. Oh my god. This makes me emotional, her voice. Holy crap, the percussion, it sounds like a heartbeat. And there she even mentions it. Someone who has her heart. This is so sad for her golden age. But I have a thought about the title, but I'll explain it later. These trap beats. Oh, that vocal effect. That echo. Those harmonies, holy crap. Oh my god. Okay, so that's Casings. Another very sad ballad. But it also had that like trap beat in it, which I liked, and even on the last one, which was kind of crazy. Um, so this song, plain and simple, is about infidelity and like finding out about it and coping with that, the thoughts that come along with it, feeling like you're not good enough, and comparing yourself to that other person, and yeah, just all of the harmful thoughts that come with that. Um, but I do wonder what she means by the title Casings. And I wanted to touch on the idea that I was talking about earlier in the name of the album in its entirety, in that it's Golden Age. And I think this might be like speaking to how like the teenage years of your life are like your golden age, and they're supposed to be this thing that where you do have like your golden years, like you fall in love, you learn how to drive, you sort of like get this like collection of skills and experiences that shape you into being an adult, because that's at the end of being a teenager, becoming an adult. And she's kind of like pushing back on that idea, like these are supposed to be my golden years, but I'm struggling and I have pain instead of all of these golden experiences. And that's a JoJo reference, but yeah, just supposed to be having a good time, but I'm not. Okay, track number 3, Lilies, and it has Mercy and Necromancy on it. This should be interesting. This reminds me of Blue Jeans by Lana Del Rey. I don't know why. I think the guitar, maybe. Or even Born to Die. I like how like vocally consistent she is in this album. Ooh, that harmony. So she's really like idolizing this person and putting them on a pedestal, is what I'm getting from this. I just want to go to a concert of hers to hear her serenade me. The vocals just give me chills consistently in every song. You know my weakness, but you don't know what I do. Wow. Okay, that was Lilies. That was another very beautiful track, and it gets me thinking about the first track, Sunday Morning, and how, like, you know, how she's talking about, like, the abuse, and she was the one telling the person to do it. Like, I don't know if I should say the word abuse. Like, she tells this person to hit her for whatever reason, but maybe. And in this track, Lilies, she's saying, I'm gonna hurt you, and that she's gonna lose this person. So maybe I was thinking maybe it's connected, like maybe she makes bad requests of people, maybe she's someone who isn't good, to put it plainly, and that she's going to hurt them, and maybe she was hurting that person when she told them to hit her. But production wise, I really enjoyed the guitar and the piano, and it also had that beat where it sounded like a heartbeat again, which is very fitting for this album, and especially this track with the longing that this person is having towards this person who they put on a pedestal. But yeah, another very beautiful track, and can't wait for the next one. This is track number 4, Head in the Wall, one that I had written down. The guitar had some like slight grunge and slight country even feels to it. Now it's sounding more dreamy. Notice that her voice is deeper. Just going into that lower register. It fits like with like the numbness and how like monotone everything is. That line, girls will be and boys will be boys. This is tough. About that harmony. She's amazing. So it sounds like she's been like bad-mouthed to like the whole town. I can hear a guy singing with her. It's a nice harmony. That's so toxic. Can only leave when you're dead. Okay, that was Head in the Wall, and that was a very tough listen. It had a lot of themes that were difficult, but what they were, if I can list them off, is suicide, abuse, also like drug abuse too, maybe, because she talks about like shooting up, but also she said shooting up our old school, so I'm questioning what that's about, because we know like what that's supposed to imply, but like, nobody would just say that. Or admit to it, and that thing wouldn't go like unpunished. So I'm confused about that, but also she's just talking about this like abusive relationship and how this person makes her want to put her head through a wall. She wants to not be alive because of this person. She wants to unalive. And yeah, this person has abused her. She's talked about other people in the community also abusing her and using her body for their sins. I think that might speak to like adultery or something else. But yeah, she's very like anti everything, any group, because these people have wronged her. She feels wronged by the cops, by God, and the town, the people who surrounded her. But yeah, let's get to track number 5, Knuckle Velvet, another one I wrote down. Okay, she sounded like she was singing cursive a bit. Okay, that was Knuckle Velvet, and this was another track detailing the abusive relationship she's in, or she was in, and like talking about like specifically Knuckles, after punching they get sore, and how she also talks about how she's bleeding out onto this person's sleeve, and this person is also crying, so they're like trying to make her feel guilty even though they're the aggressor and hurting her, and how they're kind of immature because she made this person stay on their own, and I guess they acted out because of it. But yeah, overall it's very raw storytelling, and she mentions how like every drop of blood she loses, that's love she loses, and that she doesn't get back. But yeah, very consistent, good production, like the past tracks, and like with the guitar and percussion and all that. Really has a good focus on Ethel's songwriting and storytelling and vocals. But that gets us to the last track, the title track, number 6, Golden Age. that vocal effect. The taste. Oh, that violin. Or cello, maybe. The electric guitar goes so hard. Beautiful voice. Okay, so that's the title track, and wow, it sets us off to a point where she's kind of accepted like the traumas and like the pain that's happened to her in a way. Maybe not like fully accepting, but like acknowledging how far she's come and kind of embracing the future, going away from what she was saying earlier, and that she's gonna wait for these horrible years to pass her by, and that she'll get her golden years when she's older and an adult, like the adult that has everything figured out, you know? Because we all think that's gonna happen, you know? I say you know way too much, but we all think that our problems are gonna get fixed when we're older, or we're just gonna have all of the answers someday. But the truth is, we have to put the work in now, because that's all we have to work with. You can't really work with the future because the future is uncertain. Your time is now. And she sees that. I think she says she's gonna paint the edges gold or the ages gold. Let me see. Yeah, paint the ages 100 shades of gold. But yeah, I think it was a really great choice by her to put Golden Age towards the end of the album, because at the beginning of the album it sets it off at like such a low point where you're like, oh, I'm walking into the Golden Age album, and then depression. Yeah, it's just a really great start in that regard because of the contrast and the flipping of the title track being at the end. And yeah, it's kind of like a nice reveal at the end, like the title track, it actually means this. It's like yearning for a golden future for your good days amongst the pain and the suffering that she's had. And also, there's another layer that this song specifically adds with the title track, in that she talks about um, like being a prostitute and giving up her body in a way. And that just adds another layer for us and gives us more context into her situation, which is helpful in understanding how she's gotten to this point and how she feels in the rest of the songwriting that comes in the song, because she says that the beauty is wasted on her, and that like she feels like she should be like grateful or something because she's gifted, and that she should be getting things she wants, but also that hasn't been happening. And furthermore, she also says how she's gotten everything she's wanted, but not everything she's wanted, but most of the things she wants, but it's still not enough for her. And I think that's something that goes for everyone. We all want something more. Even like the richest people on earth, they want more. Heck, they want to get out of here and move to another planet because they've already achieved that maximum, on this planet. Now it's all up to being on another planet and continuing your milestones there. But yeah, I had not a lot to say in like the midst of the songs, but that's just because I was so taken aback by the beauty and amazing album that was in front of me and that my ears were taking in the sound of. But that gets me to the final thoughts that I have for this album and the ratings and the tracks I liked. I liked all of them. But yeah. So I'm going to give this album a solid 10 because I just thought it was very consistent production wise, lyrically. It just made a lot of sense to me. Like even the positioning of the songs, like Golden Age being put to the end, and just that intention and everything being so like neatly wrapped up together to form the idea of this album, I just think is very well done, well crafted, and it was very emotional, very hard to listen to at times, striking, really made you feel for her and her situation, and it was also like beautiful simply enough. Like even when she's talking about these difficult things, she doesn't fail to give off a very beautiful performance, and she also switches up her vocal style in the middle for one of the tracks. I believe it was Lilies, where she sings in like a very like monotone type of voice, but it really is well leveraged because it really fits with how she's feeling very numb and is talking about not feeling enough, you know? But yeah, I don't really ask a lot from albums. If you've seen any of my other stuff, or even if you haven't, I'll just say that. Yeah, I just thought that the production was very well done too. It wasn't too over the top, but it wasn't like too minimal either. And even at times where it was pretty minimalist production, like just a percussion segment, it didn't feel out of place because it also had meaning to me. Like, for example, where that percussion part was happening in one of the tracks, it sounded like a heartbeat to me, and it sounded like the anxiety and overall like being worried about things that the track needed. But yeah, I don't think there's a single bad thing I could say about Golden Age. Just very, very well done. And it's safe to say I'm a fan now, and that I'll be eager to listen to her future projects. One final thing I will say about her is that I think that she's like a cross between Lana Del Rey in her songwriting, talking about like abuse, and that maybe she's an inspiration, but also Enya and how she can create this atmosphere that's very like spacious with her vocals, because they're like very like long drawn out notes in her music that creates a lot of space, if that makes sense. Quite similar to Enya, in my eyes at least. And yeah, thank you for watching this video, and let me know what you think of Ethel Cain. When did you start listening to her? How did you come across her? Was it something similar to me? Was it not? And what were your favorite tracks on this album? And yeah, I'll see you next time, or maybe I won't. Goodbye. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be reviewing Ethel Cain's what? Golden